The Song Dynasty and Wisdom, under the Mongol gun. The Song Dynasty, ruling from 960 to 1279 CE, is often remembered as a brilliant era of culture, innovation, and intellectual achievement. Yet, it was also a time of constant pressure and danger, especially from the relentless Mongol hordes on its borders. Imagine a civilization flowering in art, science, and philosophy, all while standing on the edge of a sword. That was the Song. The dynasty began after a period of fragmentation, known as the 5 Dynasties and 10 Kingdoms. When Emperor Taizu of Song unified much of China, hopes were high for a lasting peace. And indeed, the Song became famous for its economic prosperity, urban growth, and revolutionary inventions. Paper money, the compass, gunpowder, yes, gunpowder, and movable type printing all either emerged or were perfected during this time. If you love fireworks or even your morning latte, you have the Song inventors to thank. But while the Song thrived in creativity and trade, their military was notoriously weaker compared to earlier dynasties. The Song emperors prioritized civil administration and scholars over generals and warriors. This meant that when the Mongols, led by the fierce Genghis Khan and later his grandson Kublai Khan, came knocking, the Song armies struggled to keep them at bay. The Mongols were masters of horseback warfare and brutal efficiency. Their conquests swept across Asia like a storm, and the Song had to adapt fast or be swallowed whole. In the face of this existential threat, Song intellectuals didn't just sit and watch. They doubled down on innovation, both in technology and strategy. New types of weapons emerged, early cannons and explosive bombs that combined the wonders of gunpowder with military necessity. At the same time, Song scholars were busy refining Confucianism into what we now call Neo-Confucianism, a philosophical revival that sought to strengthen society by blending ethics, metaphysics, and a focus on personal morality. It was a response to chaos, a call for order, and an attempt to preserve Chinese identity under threat. While generals like General Yue Fei Wen became legendary for their fierce loyalty and battlefield skill, the Song court's cautious policies often hampered military effectiveness. Negotiations, truces, and tributes were common tools, as the dynasty tried to survive through diplomacy as much as warfare. Still, the Mongols were unstoppable. By 1276, the Mongol armies captured the Song capital, Lin'an, modern Hangzhou. 2 years later, the last Song emperor died, marking the end of the dynasty and the beginning of the Yuan dynasty, under Mongol rule. Despite their military defeat, the legacy of the Song is not one of failure. It is the story of a civilization rich in ideas and culture, fighting to protect its way of life with brains as much as brawn. The Song era gave us some of China's greatest poets, painters, and thinkers. It was a period when cities grew to dazzling sizes, and trade routes connected China with the wider world, from Southeast Asia to the Middle East. So, when we look back at the Song dynasty under the shadow of the Mongol gun, we see a paradox. A time of both vulnerability and extraordinary brilliance. A time when wisdom and creativity fought against overwhelming force. And though the dynasty fell, its spirit shaped the future of China for centuries to come. In the grand sweep of history, the Song remind us that sometimes survival isn't just about winning battles. It's about preserving culture, advancing knowledge, and adapting in the face of impossible odds.